This is my wish list for Pokemon in 2026. February 27th marks the 30th year anniversary for this franchise, and time again, the Pokemon Company, for these milestones, they come out guns a-blazing with some really cool things. And this year in particular, the 30th year anniversary, right? Just like I said, a couple weeks from now, we'll start the 30th year anniversary, which is highly anticipated for a number of reasons. I got 5 things that I want to talk about today, but one of the biggest is that this will start Generation 10, which will be the first mainline brand new Pokemon generation in 4K on the Switch 2, right, on this next generation console. It is obviously going to be open world, but there's a lot of really great things to get excited for. I'm going to be talking about that in this video, but leading up to this, right, what are all these other things? What are all these other games that we could expect to see? I'm going to get into it right now. So the first thing on my list is epilogue content for Pokemon Legends ZA. The DLC is out for this game, and I know Legends ZA has been like highly controversial. I'm having a great time as a Pokemon fan. I think there's a lot of really great things in Legends ZA. I want to focus, just personally, like I've really gravitated towards all of the great things that ZA has done. There are a lot of things that I would have preferred as a fan, but as a game itself, I think ZA is really strong. Regardless, one of the main things that I want to see is epilogue content. We saw this for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. After the main game, after both of the DLCs, we got epilogue content with a brand new mythical Pokemon, a brand new story, and a bunch of lore, kind of tying up a lot of things that we had questions for. And I think we could see a similar thing with Legends ZA. They're treating Legends ZA, even though it is a side series of the core games, Legends ZA has it is very lore heavy, right? This is a Game Freak product, a Game Freak story and game, and they're doing a lot of really cool things, making decisions that actually affect what the heck is going on. And so what I want to see on Pokemon Day, I want to see the announcement of an epilogue. I think there is a possibility that we could get a Volcanion related epilogue, or maybe something Cresselia related, maybe to tie in with the fact that Darkrai is in the DLC. I won't go into spoilers, but there's a lot of Pokemon that are central to the Kalos region that feel a little bit unanswered or a little bit underbaked. Never mind any of the classic characters from the original X and Y games that just are not showing up in Legends ZA. Like, there's a lot of... Listen, this is what the discourse has been for 2 years. There is so many things that could be mentioned in Legends ZA that just haven't been touched on, and I've made my peace with those things, but I do think epilogue content, specifically my pick is Volcanion. That's my pick. I would love to get some more story or explanation or something having to do with Volcanion. I don't know the next time we're gonna be in the Kalos region, so this is kind of just the last chance for this poor mythical Pokemon. And hey, give it a mega. Just give it a mega. That's my pick. That's the first thing that I want to see on Pokemon Day in 2026. And the next thing is also something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is Pokemon ports. Absolutely, I would love to see some Pokemon ports. If you go back 10 years ago, for the 20th year anniversary for Pokemon, on the 3DS Virtual Console, Generations 1 and 2, that is Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, I think it was over a 2-year period these games were ported to the eShop. I was able to play them. Not that I hadn't played them in the past, but honestly, that's a good point. A lot of people hadn't ever played them, new fans of the series, and they were able to play these games. And it was really cool because you could also connect these Pokemon games to Bank, and all of a sudden, all of these Pokemon that you traded from these games, from these ports, got their hidden ability. And also, like, Generations 1 and 2, again, entered the discourse, right? They entered fans' minds. Like, I feel like what we don't talk about is because YouTube is filled with, people my age who love these old games and are always talking about them. I think we forget. I talk to younger, I hire people on my team. I hire people to help out with my podcast and my businesses, and these are younger people, people in their 20s who love Pokemon as much as anyone else, but have never played Generation 5 or who have never played Generation 3. And that is baffling to me as a 30-year-old, but that's the truth. A lot of people don't play these games, and I think there's it was an incredible gift for these titles to be ported back, 10 years ago, but these games are not even available anymore, right? Like they're not on the Switch eShop or whatever they're called. They're not available. They're not on NSO. They're not anywhere. You can't get them legally, I guess I'll say. So the opportunity for the 30th year anniversary as we start the Switch 2 era is to not only bring Red and Blue and Gold and Silver, not just the first two generations into the fray, but also Generation 3. And that could even mean could include the Generation 1 remakes or the Kanto remakes. I guess it would be the Generation 3 Kanto remakes is technically what Fire Red and Leaf Green should be called. So Ruby Sapphire, Fire Red, Leaf Green, and even Emerald could be brought, and made playable in 2026. I think that would be so great. Another thing to notice, and I've gone into detail about this topic in other videos, but what was so great about the Generation 1 and 2 ports was that there were certain mythical Pokemon, legendary Pokemon events that just have not been legally available for so long, literally since the games had come out. And Generation 3 is in this same camp. So, like, for example, in Crystal version, for the first time internationally, if you had Crystal version on the eShop, you could get a Celebi. They just automatically unlocked that. So once you beat the game, once you beat the Elite Four, I think maybe you might have had to beat Red. I'm not totally sure. But Celebi, for the first time, was available. People started shiny hunting. Celebi is now that I had never experienced that until the ports of these games. So that is something that they could definitely do in these Generation 3 titles. For instance, there is a Mew event, the mystery gift event. It's Mew, the mythical Pokemon Mew. You can get it in Generation 3, but not only that, you literally have to travel. There's a whole cutscene where you travel to a new island within Hoenn, or within the Hoenn games, and I believe Professor Oak maybe shows up. There are so many things like this. You can get Lugia and Ho-Oh in Generation 3. Never before have I ever done this. Never mind Deoxys or Jirachi. Again, I don't want to harp on this. I've done other videos on this topic, but there are so many cool mythical Pokemon that it just, for me, if I'm just playing a cart of Ruby version, I can't get these things. I can't get these things, and I think a great way to reinvent and to justify these games being ported, not only could Pokemon bring these games to the masses and bring them back into the fold, into the conversation of the community, but they could also make all these mystery gift events available once more and just unlock them, which would be so cool. But another thing is that there is currently a rumor that's very strong. There are images of a patent for a dual screen attachment, a physical attachment that you could pop onto your Switch 2. And if this is to be believed, to me, that says, right, and these rumors have been floating for a year, and we've heard nothing about this. But what this tells me is that if this attachment is made available, all of a sudden, we could see Generation 4, we could see DS ports. And so that is Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black and White, and Black 2. This is a little bit of a stretch, but this is my wish list. This is my wish list. I can wish for whatever the heck I want. We do obviously have BDSP. These are faithful remakes that are, available and would be competing or whatever. But in 2026, I think those games are what? Those games would be maybe 5 years old at this point. So that's half a decade. I don't think this is an issue. My wish list says that I would love to see all of these games brought to the Switch 2. Make the Switch system. I love the Switch, but make the Switch system an actual Pokemon machine in the same way that the DS and the 3DS was for all these Pokemon games. Bring these to the, come on. This is the one opportunity. This is our one opportunity to get all these ports. Yeah, I don't know. That's just really, really what I want. I think there's so much opportunity here. And also, in the same way that these original ports were compatible with Pokemon Bank, I would honestly be disappointed. I feel like if these games are going to be ported, they have to be compatible with Pokemon Home. And I say that also because another huge game that everyone is anticipating in 2026 is Pokemon Champions. This is, again, another game that we just don't know that much about. I think it's obviously being positioned as a battle simulator. It is going to abide by the standard and traditional turn-based Pokemon combat system that is beloved by so many. I mean, as I get older, I care less and less about battling in this format. But people love it, and I think there is something special here that Champions is going to be preserving, and so by introducing, right, because it seems like the only way to import Pokemon in Champions without renting them through gameplay would be through Pokemon Home, and a great way to do that would be to integrate all of these classic Pokemon experiences, right? Have people be able to purchase them, play through them, re-experience them, or experience them for the very first time, and then bring those Pokemon up into Pokemon Home and then into Pokemon Champions. And that's a great little ecosystem. And it's all the same. It literally is all the same battle. It's all the same battle system. So I think that's really, really clean. And that is what I would be anticipating for next year. Again, in terms of like what I actually want to see in Champions, we don't know that much. And like I said, battling hasn't really been something that I've loved as of recently. I'm actually really enjoying the real-time combat of Legends ZA. I feel like every single battle in that, even if it is a random trainer battle, it's actually fun. So I'm not really sure what to expect going into future generations. We will touch on Generation 10 here in a little bit, so we could talk about it at that point. But yeah, Pokemon Champions, I don't know, from what I've seen so far, I'm not thrilled, but I want to get more from Champions. And I think what I'd be looking for, right, in my wish list, what I'd be looking for from Champions is actually some sort of like, I guess like, I think I'm just looking for an experience that isn't available in a Pokemon game, in a standard RPG Pokemon game. Does that make sense? Like right now, I feel like Champions is just the hollowed out version of the battles. And that's fine, but I think I would like some sort of like gameplay mode. I think people like the Battle Frontier, for example, because it felt like you were like collecting badges. You're collecting these little symbols. It kind of functions as its own RPG. There's a separate campaign from the mainline games, right? And so I think that's what I'd be looking for from Champions. You guys can definitely let me know like what you're anticipating from Champions, but I'm dying to know more. And we will. I'm pretty confident we'll learn more by Pokemon Day. That's for sure. Of course, there's going to be new TCG sets. I think other small spin-offs is something to anticipate. I guess I don't really care too much. Like a lot of spin-offs have come out in recent years, and I haven't been a huge fan. I think there are some mobile games that I have enjoyed, like Pokemon Sleep, like Pokemon TCG Pocket. So I'm always optimistic about whatever the spin-off game is going to be. I think actually I would really enjoy a Pokemon Rangers game. I never played those when I was younger, just because I spent my birthday money on Ruby version. I spent my birthday money on Leaf Green. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where my money was going. That's where my $35 were going. They were going to like a mainline RPG. So I never played the Ranger games. Let me pull that up right here just so I can show you Pokemon Ranger. I never played these, but they do look enticing, and there is an element of this that I feel like matches. Like it's still an RPG, but like there is an action element to it, which does remind me of Legends, like the Legends series. So I think there is something really cool that could come out of this, like a modern Pokemon Ranger game. I don't know. I bet if they just got rid of the spinning, like the touchpad, the like aspects, and just focused on like fleshing out what it means to be not a Pokemon trainer, but a Pokemon Ranger, right? That's like a trainer class. that is actually pretty cool. Something that I do want for Generation 10, and I think I'll make a separate video about this, is trainer classes. I think trainer classes are really underutilized, especially for like Pokemon games, right? Like that in any other RPG, your abilities would be tied to the class of player that you actually choose. So I think there's an opportunity for a new Pokemon Rangers game, and I would honestly, I would definitely try that out. That actually sounds fun the more I talk about it. But okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Generation 10. I think there's yeah, man, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited for Generation 10. I'm in the middle of playing Mega Dimension right now. I have not completed it, but I'm excited. I'm really, really optimistic for Generation 10 and this new era of Pokemon games on Switch 2. Like, right off the bat, right, on Pokemon Day, I am fully expecting the announcement of the Generation 10 starter Pokemon. I think, as always, they won't give us all of the information. They're going to show us pictures, and it's going to be up to us to speculate for like a month, which will be really, really fun. They'll maybe reveal some characters or maybe some gameplay in the region. That's so exciting. Like, that is really special. I feel like, looking back, Scarlet and Violet, I played it as much as anyone else, but it actually, looking back, it kind of just was not as, it's not, I derive fun out of Pokemon games no matter what the quality is, but looking back, Scarlet and Violet was not as special as it really could be, and I think that's because of the technical realities of that game and how it looked and how it played. I in terms of an open world video game, it really, whatever. I think what I'm trying to say is I think Generation 10 could be really, really special. I think it could be really special. So what we know from rumors, I'll say rumors because a lot of leaks have come out and they're not leaks because they end up being wrong. But it seems like these games are supposed to be called Wind and Wave. It is some sort of island hopping adventure. It seems like we're going to be having a legendary Pokemon very similar to, or we're going to have a Pokemon that will evolve depending on how we play the game. And I really just want to get my eyes on this. I really want to see what this game actually plays like. From what I've heard, it being an island hopping adventure, there seems to be some procedural generation, which honestly reminds me a lot of, like, it reminds me of the gameplay that I'm experiencing right now with Mega Dimension. I go into a mega portal, one of these pockets of hyperspace, and I have a glimpse at what I'm about to see, but it's not until I get there, when everything generates, that's when I really know where I am, and what I'm about to like discover. Like, every time I go into a pocket of hyperspace, it's a brand new adventure. It's a brand new, like, it's a new roll of the dice. And I think that's actually what all these little islands are gonna function as. So let me back up a little bit. Based on what we know about Generation 10, I am really excited for traversal. You know, one of my favorite Pokemon games is the Hoenn experience. I love all the different biomes. I love that we can dive. In the remakes, we can soar in the air. There are volcanoes. There are rainforests. There are underground tunnels. Like, the legendary Pokemon are like just walking creations of like biodiversity. It's just like raw power. And that is so much fun. And I honestly get so excited to imagine a Generation 10 Pokemon game that looks to me as good as Legends EA. I think the city of Legends EA, it has its issues, but I think the Pokemon and the art direction, the trainers, the drip, everything about me as a character in Legends EA in my adventure, and the Pokemon, I've been blown away at, right? Even being able to use new Pokemon from Generation 9, like just over the last couple days in this new Generation 9 game that actually plays well, that has good frame rates, and I can see the Pokemon emote, right, in a way that I was never able to see them in Scarlet and Violet. Makes me so happy. Like, I'm having a blast with this DLC. And to now think that 500 old Pokemon I could now see those Pokemon in a game engine that is even better than Legend ZA. And then not only that, but 100 new Pokemon, regional forms, new legendary Pokemon, maybe convergent evolutions, split evolutions. Did I say regional forms already? There is such a magic and a joy to the start of a new Pokemon generation. And looking back, I think I was actually a little bit soured, and I did not enjoy Scarlet and Violet as much as I thought I was in the moment. Or it's just been 40 years and I'm ready to move on. Like, thinking about this new Pokemon generation, could we get new fossils? Could we get a new Pokemon type? Could we get a new EV evolution, right? We know we're going to get new starter Pokemon. And my pick, and I am making another video about this on the main channel, but my pick for the starter Pokemon in Generation 10, the water Pokemon, I want it to be a fishing cat. There's a ton of like fishing, like big cat, big game in Indonesia, like where in Malaysia, where this Generation 10 region is supposed to be based on. And I would love to see like a little fishing cat evolve into like a bigger, maybe like a lion, not an actual lion, but like a larger feline. They literally have cats out there that like they literally go fish, like in New Hampshire where I live, we have fisher cats. In this new Generation 10 region, they could have cats that literally fish and have like they'll just like a bear will catch salmon. These cats will capture fish, and then you could even honestly, that's my pick, like an actual mammal. But I'm thinking now a fishing cat, they could do a catfish like that. A catfish starter Pokemon could be a thing. The grass starter, I would love to see a fruit bat very easily. Like that writes itself. They have tons of bats, specifically fruit bats in Indonesia. So I would love to see that. And then also for the fire starter of this new region, my pick is a Komodo dragon. This is a species that lives in that area. It is iconic in itself. And like, I'll take it. We have Charizard. We got Fuecoco and Skeledirge. Now I want an actual Komodo dragon, fire dragon type. Make it happen. Make it happen. It could be dark type as well. It could be honestly fire poison type. It could be fire poison type because I know I believe they're venomous. I believe they're venomous, like with their saliva or whatever. Those are my picks for the starter Pokemon. I'm gonna do a full deep dive video on this, like I said, on my main channel. So subscribe for that. But I don't know. It warms my heart. It really does get me so excited. And I think there's like, maybe I'm just ranting now, but like for the last year, 2 years, with all of these leaks that have come out, there's a lot of leaks or rumors. Like every day I see a new video that says like, this has been leaked. And there's really no leaks because a year later, something's going to come out that says, oh, that was wrong. It's actually this. And I love leaks. I love theory crafting. I love finding out like little tidbits of information so I can speculate, so I can make videos like this. But I think what I'm trying to say is let's keep an open mind. I don't think we know as much about Generation 10 as these videos would suggest. And that's why I'm doing a wish list. What do I want to see in Generation 10? I want to see full-on traversal. I want the region to feel massive. I want exploration. I want brand new Pokemon. I think I just want this new Pokemon region to feel like a proper RPG, an open world RPG. I want it to feel like Skyrim. I want it to feel like a world that I want to relive over and over and over again, just like the Generation 3, just like all those classic games I was talking about before. I'm playing Black version right now, and it holds up. It really, all of these old classic Pokemon games hold up. I think most Pokemon games hold up. But I do think in recent times, the regions have felt tiny. The regions have not felt as wild, and have not inspired exploration in the same way that I think the Hoenn titles, for example, have. I want mystery. I want intrigue. I want new legendary Pokemon, new legendary quartets. Honestly, Scarlet and Violet did a really good job with this. The Ruinous Quartet, crazy. They obviously are Chinese in origin, suggesting that they're not even from Paldea. Great. I want more stuff like that. I want hints and flavors at a larger Pokemon world that we only get a glimpse at. So I can, so as a community, we can speculate. I think that's so much fun. I'm looking at my list right here. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is the start of the Switch 2 Pokemon era. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Following Pokemon could come back. Like, there's so many good things in ZA. The real-time combat system is so cool. I don't know if I exactly said this, but like it does sound like there's gonna be a real. It does sound like there's gonna be turn-based combat, a new type of turn-based combat in Generation 10, and I wouldn't be surprised if it has real-time elements that separates it from Pokemon Champions. I guess what the biggest thing that I wish for Generation 10 is a clean slate. I want innovation. I want experimentation. I think Pokemon does so many great things. People clown on Game Freak, but they are in their bag when it comes to world building, character design, Pokemon design. I love it. I love it so much, and I'm excited. This is going to be a great year for Celebration. There are plenty of things that I have not touched on, so let me know in the comments what you're expecting to see in 2026. I don't know, maybe movies, spin-off games, what you want to see with the TCG specifically. Let me know what kind of gimmick you want to see. I think for a gimmick, what I would want to see is, I really like the idea of some sort of, I want to like not hyper train. I want to like, there's actually a lot of things I would actually want. I like the idea of like picking one stat and going all the way on that one stat. Kind of like a Mega Evolution, but a little bit more isolated. I think about like armor evolutions, right? Having like equip items that like supercharge one stat, something like that. But let me know what you think. Subscribe. This is my second channel, Dusty Topic, but my main channel has more highly produced content, and I got a lot of big videos, collaborations, all over there on Dusty Go-Goat. So subscribe there if you're not already. I love you guys. Let me know what you're expecting to see in 2026.